Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to the Word of the Day. I am your host, the Bible Man himself. Welcome back. Today, I'm preaching from the topic, Put God First. Over the course of my life, I realize a lot of people, a lot of Christians out there say they're going to do this and that when it comes to God, whether it's they're going to go to church Sunday, they're going to go to Bible study Wednesday, and when the time comes, they always end up not doing what it is they say they're going to do. And the excuse most of the time is, I was too tired. I didn't feel like driving that far. When God died for you on the cross and paying for your sin, he was tired too. He didn't want to be up there either, but he did it anyway. He didn't have to. He didn't have to, but he did it anyway. And see, Ezekiel chapter 20 verse 40 says that we should bring to the Lord our first fruits, the choicest selections of all our offerings. And to stay in perfect peace, we should give God the best of our time and our goods. And we must be honest with ourselves about what our priorities really are and start making the proper changes in order to have a better relationship with God. We can't be committed to work and God. The Bible says you can't be both committed to money and God. You have to choose one. You can't be committed to something else and then say you're going to serve God one day. You can't be out leading somebody astray one day and come up in the church and leave everybody else astray the other day. Being too busy is not an acceptable excuse for not staying focused on what is truly important. Everyone sets his or her own schedule, and we need to establish boundaries. And we need to learn to say no when people ask us to do something that leads us away from God. And in that place, temptation steps in. God needs to be our priority in everything we do, from getting dressed to setting our schedule. You can ask God for wisdom choices that will glorify him. You can ask God if he can save you one day. You pray to God one day that he helps you with something else, and then don't have the nerve to come up in the church and give God a little hand clap the next day. It's what we call being fake, if you know. Even ordinary events will become sacred because he is involved in them. And see, you can just talk to God as you go about your day and ask him to direct you and the choices you are making and to empower you for the jobs and the stuff you need to get done. But as you acknowledge that God is always with you, you need to keep him first in everything you set out to do, and he will show you a direct path that will lead you to peace. I call it the road to glory. And see, you will experience great pleasure in your life knowing you are keeping God first and thereby partnering with him in everything you do. And on the road to glory, most of us are set on a destructive path that we've been set on by somebody else, mostly because of temptation. But I keep telling you, the road to glory, the Bible says the gate to an everlasting life is very narrow and very few people enter, but the road to hell and death is very wide and a lot of people enter. And why? Because temptation. The devil has a way of dragging you down. Like I say, he can get you through that gate easily. It's not like Willy Wonka in a chocolate factory and 1 out of a million people getting the golden ticket. It's very easy to be slugged down and go to hell. Going to heaven takes time. It takes skill. It takes putting God first in your life. You're so committed to doing something else that you often forget about God, and you say, hey, I'm going to go to church next Sunday. Next Sunday comes, you say, oh, I'll do it next Sunday. And eventually you're gonna be at a place where you just don't end up going, and time will add up, and then, God forbid, something happens to you, and where you at? You're stuck. So before I end it today, I want you to ask yourself, ask yourself if you're really putting God first, or is he second in your life? Playing a video game, an Xbox, PlayStation, there are 2 controllers, player 1 and player 2. You have control of player 1 no matter what. So who has control of 2 in your life? It's time for you to decide that right now. So ask yourself, am I putting God first or not? See you next time.